Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome back to the art table for February 2024. Today, I'm really excited to feature a wonderful artist who does everything from children's book illustrations to community artworks to painting on rocks, which I think is honestly great. I would like to introduce you to the fantastic Emma Guido. That is a pronunciation she gave me, pronunciation guide rather she gave me for her last name. I understand that some of you may have looked at that and kind of had to do a second take. It is not pronounced phonetically like another word, which unfortunately in North America is a derogatory term for people of Hispanic descent. So it is an unfortunate last name in terms of the word that it looks similar to, but is not pronounced the same at all. Nor would I make any associations between Emma and that term as a whole. So going forward, it is going to be Emma Guido, though I will be referring to her as Emma. Now, speaking of, Emma is a fantastic artist who, like I said, does a number of different illustration styles, from painting to drawings to digital artwork that include any range of subjects from sketches to children's artwork to landscapes to kind of everything, especially on her Instagram. Links for that will be in the description down below. She does a lot of community projects, which I think is fantastic. When an artist is able to get outside, or anyone is able to get outside and get involved in their community to help kind of leave their mark or help brighten the community as a whole, I think is wonderful. With all that being said, again, her social media links, and if she has a commission page, I will leave that linked in the description down below as well. To get the usual spiel out of the way, I do not take any form of kickback, discount, promotion, commission, or anything like that from the artist in regards to making these videos. If I have had a commission done by the artist, it will be highlighted in the video and will not be done within the scope of the video. It won't be done because of the video. It will be done completely outside of it. If you are looking to commission the artist yourself, I again will leave their contact information down below, but it is between you and the artist. They are allowed to set prices, timetables, what they are or are not comfortable with drawing. I do not speak for them. You will not get a discount code just for coming to them from this video, but by all means, do look them up. Do appreciate their art, and if they are open for commission and you have some available money, by all means ask for a commission. But again, understand that they are human beings. They can decide how they want to run their business, meaning they may deny service at any time. Please do not use these artworks without the artist's express permission. I have written consent from every artist that I feature here on the channel. That does not give you permission to reuse their artworks somewhere else on the internet. So please do not do so without their express permission first, because as I say, I have gotten it from them to feature it on my channel, but not feature it anywhere else, nor would I try to. With all that being said, let's get into the video. Now, the first piece I wanted to showcase was this one, because it's honestly the first one that jumped out at me. And it very much reminded me of Drumheller. For those of you who don't know, Drumheller is in the southern part of Alberta, which is a province in Canada, and features one of the largest dinosaur museums in the entire world, the Royal Tyrrell Museum. Now, I do believe Royal Tyrrell was mentioned or tagged in this post, and it's gorgeous to me. Like, this is a beautiful representation of everything that's hiding under the earth in certain places of the world. And I understand that this is meant to be like, bare bones and everything buried underground and the treasures hidden within that we don't see. But it also gave me this very night sky vibe between the dark blacks and purples in the background, helping the bright, vibrant yellows and blues and pinks to really kind of jump out and almost feel like a sunset against a dark, voided sky, which is then, accompanied by the sunset over top of the ground to again imply the hidden nature of everything. Honestly, I just thought it was an amazing piece, and this is, again, the first one that really jumped out at me. This is the one that made me go, oh wow, that's gorgeous. I love the use of the colors and even the designs, having scattered bones or teeth and kind of the sparkly stars, but then having the big dinosaur skull near the bottom there. And I think, but I can't quite tell, it kind of looks like a human leg, little north of the image center, so I'm not sure what that's doing there. Maybe the Mafia was here once in a while, but who knows? Anyway, before I get myself whacked, I wanted to just really showcase and highlight some of the amazing color work that she does, because some of the other pieces that I'll feature really contrast that and demonstrate her wide variety of skills and the range that she can produce as an artist. So let's move on to the next piece. Now, I wanted to showcase this piece because I think this is arguably the most memorable piece that she has done that I recorded at the very least. It was a duck migration poster. Now, I'm not going to read all of the information that is in this poster, but please feel free to pause the video, zoom in if you can, and then read the information for yourself, or better yet, go to her Instagram, read it there. It's fantastically done. There's a lot of interesting facts, but it was just so cute. Like seeing the variety of color of the ducks, the little ducklings in the bottom there, their own little drawings. Like this to me was right out of a storybook. This to me was right out of some kind of informational presentation you'd give to children about ducks. It was just so beautifully and lovingly rendered. I think that the feathers falling out of the top were a beautiful touch. The fish in the top right were adorable. And just the light green was such a wonderful choice for the background because it gives this nice softness while still separating it from just being, a plain old white background with nothing there. Not to mention, I have a strong connections with ducks ever since being Duck Taylor in the Stardew Valley Extended series. So anything ducks, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what, I'm here for it. And I'm not gonna lie, a duck wearing an orange toque is one of the cutest things I've seen in a long time. And it's honestly just a really relaxing image. I love the emotion that I get from this image because it's just very calming. And there are times when you just need to look at something, you need to just smile. Just appreciate a simple design, a beautiful piece of art, and just smile. You don't need to feel anything complex. You don't need to feel anything moving on a deep emotional level. You just want to appreciate it and move about your day. And that is a perfect description of this piece, in my opinion. Now, this next piece will definitely move you in an emotional direction, but I can't exactly say what emotion that's going to be. So I grabbed this as the third piece because it's, dare I say, eye-catching, pun fully intended, and it was one of the ones that really stood out to me for being just a really different kind of visual. Again, pun intended. I'm very sorry. These will keep coming. This is not going to stop. And it felt very different yet similar to the ones that I'd seen previously. So it feels similar in the sense that it's got a beautifully blended color scheme between the different shades of greens and then the blues in there and just the nice subtle purples in the eye. And this felt like an image that Emma had done in terms of just the colorfulness, the playfulness of everything. But then the subject matter itself, it being a presumably autonomous floating eyeball that still has an optic nerve attached to it for some reason. So we're either left to think that this thing was just born this way and was, meant to just float around and do whatever eyeballs do, or that this was ripped from some presumably giant creature and that the little, green circles behind it are flecks of blood or material that, are coming out of it as it was removed from this creature and now it's potentially falling to the ground, which is very gruesome, violent imagery. But it leaves you wondering, what if? What if that is true? What if there is some secret, dark agenda behind all of this, and Emma's trying to warn us in the only cryptic way that she's allowed to without, exposing herself to the dangers of what is to come? Or I'm just being totally paranoid and just blowing smoke because it's funny. But no, seriously, this is a beautifully rendered image. And it was just so different in terms of, again, subject matter to what I had seen previously. And it was just really interesting to see. Even looking at it now, I can see the small details of the veins on the eyes. Those don't need to be there. A lot of people wouldn't notice that. When you look closely, you can see those tiny details really help bring it to life. Really help make it feel like not necessarily a real object, but like a realistic object, a realistic eyeball, which, again, some people might find emotionally moving in a positive direction. Some people might find emotionally moving in a negative direction. I will leave it up to you, but I'd like you to put both your eyeballs on this next piece. Now, that last image might have been nightmare fuel for some of you, so I wanted to do this one next, as it's a more accurate representation of what we might look like when we're asleep, about to have those nightmares about the giant floating eyeball and the giant that it may have come from. So, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, purple is one of my favorite colors, and this image used pinks and purples to beautiful effect, especially when you factor in how the moonlight creates that wonderful, just soft lighting through the window. This to me was absolutely gorgeous. And I love just the whole feel of the piece. Admittedly, not the cobwebs and everything. That was a little off-putting because I don't like sleeping in a dirty room. But just, I don't know, like this small kind of confined space felt very comfortable to me. And I get some people might not like that kind of feeling, but it felt very secure. Especially when you think that this is just like a small, maybe even it's a pocket dimension where this wizard goes to sleep with their cat, so they don't have to deal with the rest of the world. They don't have to deal with the stresses and everything that comes around it. They can enjoy this small slice of heaven. Although I'm looking at it now and seeing their feet are exposed, and I'm instantly regretting everything that I just said, I don't like sleeping with my feet out. That's weird to me. And I don't know, that is really throwing off my enjoyment of this piece. Also, I think they're sleeping with their socks on, which is, honestly, the more I look at this piece, the less I'm appreciating it, not from an artistic standpoint, but from a life decisions that this person has made to A, uncover their feet while they sleep, and B, go to bed with their socks on. Like, these are questionable things that I'm not sure how I feel about. But still, a gorgeous piece, outside of their very questionable life choices. I need to stop looking at this. This is making me uncomfortable. Speaking of making things uncomfortable, let's talk all about death. No, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, I loved this sketch piece. Now, I partly picked this one because it's such a stark contrast to a lot of the other more colorful imagery that she's done. But this skull was just beautifully drawn. And I admit, I grew up on a farm in many weekends, many summers out at my grandparents' place, and I saw cow skulls all the time. So this is not only an accurate representation, but again, a beautifully drawn one. I don't even know what to say outside of it's amazingly done with its shading work, especially in creating the growing shadows. And especially at the top of the skull, how you've got the scar lines, how you've got the small fractures. Everything to me just screams experience. It screams a life lived, a life loved, and a life eventually lost. But that's what's going to happen to all of us one day. And I don't mean to get super, dark and down and everyone's going to die, but this skull and just kind of the wider idea of it represents that we're going to carry with us everything that we've been through, everything that we've gone through in life, in love, in any capacity, whether we wear those scars physically or emotionally, they carry with us. They leave their marks on us. And when we decay, when we are nothing but bone or spirit or whatever you personally believe in, those scars are going to show through. Those scars are still going to be there to tell the story of the life we lived, to tell the story of what this bull has presumably done in their life. They probably got into a few fights. They might have defended a herd from a wild predator. They may have just died of old age. Who knows? We don't know what kind of life they've lived. We do know they lived. They were here. This skull, this image, this YouTube channel is meant to be a representation of being here, of existence. Because if not this, then what? What do we leave behind? What do we want to leave behind when we go? Do we want to leave behind a damaged, scarred skull? Do we want to leave behind a tiny, insignificant YouTube channel? What do you want to leave behind when you go? Anyway, that got pretty heavy. Let's bring it back. So, sorry I got so heavy there. Not intentional. I kind of record these usually without a script, or if I have a script, it's kind of just point form notes to get the vibe that I'm going for, and yeah, that kind of went off the rails. So sorry about that. But I wanted to take a quick break in the middle here to remind you that, Emma's social media links are linked down below. Please, by all means, check out her artwork. Please do not share her artwork without her permission. If you are looking to commission her, understand that is between you and her. I am in no way involved in that transaction, and she may decide if, when, and how she wants to do these commissions. So please be respectful and understand that she is a human being, as are all of the artists that I feature here on the channel. With that being said, let's look at the rest of them. So, pulling away from death, but still keeping in the horror genre / theme, I really liked this piece. It felt kind of like an homage to the Mystery Gang, Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, Velma, Fred, and, just the whole kind of vibe of exploring around in dark, haunted woods with a really cute little dog, seemingly overexcited about what they might find. Meanwhile, the danger is always lurking behind you. And it's a gorgeously rendered piece. I love the shadowing in the silhouette of the owl. How it's kind of outlined by the moonlight and how its eyes almost kind of shine the moonlight through it. It feels very ominous in a kind of cutesy way. And I just noticed the lyrics coming out of her phone are Staying Alive, which, first of all, banger song. Second of all, the irony is palpable. And Emma, thank you so much. That is a beautiful touch. But this, I don't know, this strikes me as like a father and daughter combo, kind of adventuring out at night, looking for a cryptid, or, the myth behind this giant owl that stalks the woods at night and kidnaps children, or something like that. And I don't know why, but it kind of looks like the woman is wearing sunglasses. I realize it's just, dark outside, so you see the glasses reflecting the darkness, but also reflecting the light of her phone. But I would love to imagine that she is just wearing sunglasses at night, to kind of hide the fear in her eyes, but she says, "Oh no, I wear them to look cool." And he's just out there supporting her because he thinks it's hilarious that there's no way that a giant owl is going to come out of nowhere and eat them. And listen, I'm not going to lie, if anyone has to survive this, I really hope it's the dog. Like, just leave the dog alive, let the people get eaten, I don't care. As long as the goodest boy survives, I am more than satisfied with that. Now, pulling away from the darkness into the daylight, we have this next piece. So I picked this piece because it reminded me, I'm not going to lie, of the misadventures of Flapjack. It was a really weird kind of surrealist cartoon that was, I can't remember what channel it was on. But then when I saw the face in this house, which first of all, gorgeous house. The fact that it's so expressive with just very few humanoid details is incredible. It super wacky, super zany, and I love that about it. I love the pastels in the background. And the fact that it's clearly sleeping because you have the Zeds. Yes, they are Zeds. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. I will say Zed till the day I die. They have the Zeds coming out of the chimney and out of kind of its rooftop there, which is an interesting touch to demonstrate its sleep. Anyway, like I said, this felt like it would fit in with the universe of Flapjack, which was this really strange, surrealist cartoon that a lot of stuff happened. They didn't have any talking houses, but it gave me that vibe. And that was a vibe of my childhood and just the weird, wacky things they would put in animation and TV shows just because they could. And you don't get that same energy nowadays. So this was, for me, almost a nostalgia piece, even though I don't think it's referencing anything that I actually know about, if it's a reference at all. But yeah, it was just a lovely piece, super well done. I love the feeling, the personality that comes off of a literal building of just a house with some rounded windows, a triangle window, and I don't know what the mouth would realistically be. I don't know if I'd call it a window or like what, if that were an actual thing, what it would be physically. But I don't know, I really loved the feeling, the vibes of this piece. Oh god. Sorry, I don't use the word vibes in like in an unironic way. So that was a very strange experience for me. I will blame the house on that one. So let's move from outside the house to inside. So I chose this next piece because it had a very homey feel, pun intended, based on the last image. But it reminded me of times when I would have friends over, or I would be over at a friend's house, just enjoying the night, playing cards, having snacks. But I think this image depicts something really important. It depicts the amount of hard work and things that the parents do in the background. They try not to take attention away from you and your friends. They try not to impose too many rules, but they're still there for you. They're still making snacks. They're still cleaning up. They're still making sure that everything's set up and ready to go so you can have fun. You can just enjoy your night while they're giving up everything to clean and cook and do all that, which they do every day. So, quick reminder, if you live with your parents or if you talk with your parents regularly, even if you don't, find someone who you care for, find someone who you care about, and tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate all the hard work you do. I know I don't do that enough in my own life. But not to keep getting emotional in a different spectrum, this, like I said, this piece was very reminiscent of childhood. I didn't necessarily grow up in a house this big, but the feelings are there. The core emotions and ideas of being with your friends, of just enjoying the night away. And suddenly it's midnight, you're, just about passing out on the couch as your parents carrying you up to bed, knowing that you're going to wake up and just be kind of awkward in the morning because it's your friend's house. You don't know what to do because they're still asleep. You're waiting for your mom to pick you up, but you're afraid to call her because it's, say 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, just a lot of good and, not necessarily bad, but kind of mixed feeling memories there that this piece really elicited. And it was just really super cute. I picked this next piece because it elicited the very same, feelings and vibe. Oh god. I use the word vibes again. Please send help. But in all seriousness, it elicited that core memory of me going camping with my friends I was 18 the first time I went camping. And it's a core experience for me, just hanging out with friends, like you have a sleepover when you're 12, and parents are doing everything, but then you turn 18 or even 16 when you can drive, and you start exploring that independence. You start exploring that time with your friends without your parents there, and you start exploring who you are as an individual, what you mean to the world, what the world means to you. And part of that is just going out and spending nights like this with friends, out in the woods, telling ghost stories, burning marshmallows, and just enjoying the time that you have, being that kind of awkward teenager before the world really hits you. And I get it, this isn't necessarily meant to elicit those kinds of nostalgic, positive emotions in that sense. It's meant to more relaxing, enjoying and showing positivity, but it's the harsh reality that we all face as we grow up, as we get older. These are the kinds of things that we can't enjoy as much because we're busy with work, we're busy with children, or moving to a new place, or trying to figure out what our lives are now, what they will be 5 years from now. Things that we never thought about when we were younger, when we were able to go out and just enjoy a peaceful night like this. And I haven't talked too much about the artwork on this particular piece, and I do apologize to Emma. This is, again, fantastically done. The flame emitting such glorious light and glowing and creating small little shadows and small details is portrayed beautifully on the characters. The awkward, kind of hunched over goblin eating a s'more kind of reminds me of Cat, I'm not gonna lie. She eats in some weird positions. And just everything feels very real. Everything feels very natural. And it's a beautiful piece. They're all beautiful pieces. But some of these certainly elicited more nostalgic emotions in me than others, and I hope for some people they elicit those same kind of feelings and memories for you as well. Because those are the things that are easy to forget about when you're going through your day-to-day life and all you think about is work, getting home, trying to relax, being upset if you can't relax, and thinking about doing it all over again tomorrow. We forget about these small moments, these little things. And it's important to take a step back, to think about them, to remember them, and remember what they meant to us. Anyway, let's move on to a rock, shall we? So I mentioned it way back at the beginning of the video, and I've probably shown one or two during either the intro or the mid-roll, but I finally wanted to talk about her rock, or one of her rocks. And I get it, it's a dumb idea just to be this excited about a rock, but I think it's really beautifully done, and it's a medium that not everyone uses, and I mean, rightfully so. It's a very specific medium. You have to have a very specific idea and find a suitable rock, but it's gorgeous. I love the natural shape of this rock and how she's utilized it to really help create and outline the beautiful natural shapes of a manta ray, which honestly aren't depicted as much as I would like to in art, just because they're kind of an awkward shape, right? Because they're basically a triangle, but then they kind of get the butt and then the tail. So it doesn't quite fit into like the neat, self-contained geometry of just a regular triangle. So you have to find a very specific type of thing to depict a manta ray on without it feeling out of place. And here it feels very natural. Pun intended that this rock may have been in the ocean when she found it and decided to paint on it. But just the beautiful natural light blues of the crystal clear waters, the kind of white lines to depict the surface of the water, and even the gentle shadow underneath the manta ray are all wonderfully done. And I don't know, for some reason, I just really enjoy the fact that this is on a rock. I could not tell you why. Something inside my lizard brain just goes, yes, rock, because reasons, I guess. But again, beautifully done. I love the way that she's utilized the natural shape of the rock for something that is definitely less easy to deal with, a little more difficult to properly depict in a fashion that seems natural, but she's done a fantastic job with that here. She's got a few other rock pieces that I will have included in the video, maybe in the outro, but please feel free to check out her rocks. With that being said, let's wrap this thing up. So, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for being here. Hopefully you found something in Emma's art that, really spoke to you, really stood out to you, and hopefully you're interested in potentially speaking with her about a commission. So I have received confirmation from Emma that she does take commissions, and I'll make sure to leave all of that information down in the description, as well as a pinned comment down below, so please make sure to check it out and hit her up. Contact her about that commission. Again, that's between you and her. She has full rights as the artist to decide if, how, and when she wants to do your pieces, or if she wants to do them at all. Quick reminder that I don't get any benefit from this. I have not had any commissions done by Emma, so I have no skin in the game, so to speak. I always do this just for the love of the artwork and to appreciate the artist, so please, if you haven't already, share this video, or at the very least, share Emma's artwork, or rather, social media profiles, around to your friends. Maybe they're interested, maybe there's something that would appeal to them, but please do not showcase her artwork without her consent beforehand. With all that being said, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for being here, so much for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate it. I know a lot of people kind of click off at the beginning of the video because I do that long disclaimer, but it's important that it's there. It's important that people are reminded what they are and are not allowed to do, and that I go to great lengths to ensure that I never showcase an artist's work without their verbal or written permission, and I don't want other people thinking they can just share it willy-nilly. Anyway, I'm starting to get rambly, so I'll leave you with this. Have a great night. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.